Hey everybody, what's going on? Um, I did a lot of looking before I decided to make this little video here, and the reason why is as a low voltage system integrator, installer, everything from telecom to intrusion detection systems to CCTV, access control, life safety, nurse call. We get a lot of questions in the industry of what do I need to get started. And this by no means is a you need all of this to get started. It's just with years of experience in the industry and working with, hundreds of other guys with experience. I just wanted to show personally what pack I use, and what tools I daily carry in the industry. So I'm going to get started here. As we go, I'll kind of briefly talk about each tool. If you want to know more about a tool in specific or more in depth, what I use it for, drop a comment below. Let me know, and I won't mind, at all doing a more in-depth on, the pack or, a driver, any test equipment, anything you see here. So, let me know what you guys think, and we'll get to it. All right, so to kick things off here, one of the most important things I think you can do as anyone that is installing low voltage, whether it be telecom, access control, CCTV, life safety, nurse call, whatever it is, automation, you'll have to excuse my dog, is a good tool pouch, right? So this is a leather tool pouch. The reason why I like the leather ones, I've had the Velcro ones in the past, right here, that wears out and they start to fall off. So I wound up going to a leather pouch. This is just a Cobalt pouch. I'm not too big on Cobalt tools or their packs. I have tried both of the Cobalt branded service backpacks, but this has been fine. I've had it for 8 months, and I mean, it looks brand new, and it has been through the ringer. So I'm gonna set the camera up on a tripod, and I'll pull each one of these tools out quickly and just kind of talk about why I daily carry these tools. And before anyone says anything about scissors, I do carry scissors, electrician scissors. They just have their own little sheath, and they just sit right in front of this tool pouch on my belt. So I'll get a tripod set up, and we'll kind of go through these. All right, so first off, we have the scissors. C-Jet tool. They're on Amazon. You've just got your normal shear, and then you have actually a kind of just a deep cut here. This is great for your thicker cable, whether it be direct burial, composite cable. Um, I've cut all the way up to 0 gauge cable, and it just kind of smoothly goes. You do have a couple of crimp tools here, and then along with a solid copper stripper. These are very handy. I don't know if you can tell too well in the camera, but these have been with me for quite some time, about a year and a half now. I do sharpen them. One blade is serrated, this one here. This blade is not, so you can sharpen this blade if the tool starts to wear down. And like I said, I've been using them a year and a half, and they've yet to let me know. So next, if you're going to be pulling any cable, two things that I find fairly helpful is a pair of hemostats and then a nice hook. This is actually meant for working on printers and copier machines. It's called a spring hook tool. What you can do with this is you can kind of work it into tight spaces, catch your cable. This is thin, so if it starts to want to bend out or you still can't quite get your fingers on it, a lot of time your hemostats can help you out, because once you close them, they'll kind of lock. Another thing I've done with these is if you don't want to pull something up through a hole, if it's crucial it doesn't disappear on you in a door frame or a wall, you can just kind of crimp this guy on here, and it's not going to be as heavy as, say, you know, these guys here. And of course, while they both lock, this is quite heavy in your tool pouch, and it's just not something that I have to use that often on a day-to-day basis, so these stay in my bag. All right, so we've gone over hemostats, hooks. This is just a little heavier duty hook that I carry. I do carry needle nose pliers. Every now and then your hemostats aren't going to be enough. These double as a crimping tool, a cutting tool. Majority of what these get used for in my world, and some people won't like this, I either hit things with it or I'll put it on lock rings for conduit. So good, nice pair of insulated, these are Klein needle nose pliers. Again, this is another, you've got cutting, crimp, strippers, hammer, you know, you can take you a screwdriver if you're doing knockouts and something like that. Next, we'll just go straight into screwdrivers. So this is just a Klein screwdriver. Got security bits in here because a lot of the times with IPPOE cameras and different devices in field, you will need these security bits. This is their ratcheting driver. I like it because it's not very expensive. And I found that most bits that you can order just fit right in here. So this is actually not just the factory bits. That's kind of a combination of what I use most. This is one of those labor saving devices in my opinion. It's the only Craftsman tool I own. I have tried the Ryobi, Milwaukee, and DeWalt variants of the electric screwdriver. I like this one the most because it is lightweight. It resembles a screwdriver. Of course, cost is another factor. This is $42. Ryobi is a little cheaper, but theirs, if I remember correctly, the driver itself is about this tall, and it's very square. It's kind of awkward to hold. It's hard to grab. This, you know, your thumb just kind of naturally lands here. Two little LEDs, micro USB instead of USB-C, sadly. And then it has like an impact style lock collar here. So, you know, anything you can put in your impact, you can put in this guy here. Great tool to have. While we're on drivers, tweaker screwdrivers. This is the Klein, I think it's a 28-in-1. So just a variety of bits here. This is their 14-in-1. And as it comes apart, you'll notice that the barrel is different dimensions. And those are for different nut driver applications. So this is handy to have. Building panels, believe it's this guy. Yeah, this guy here will fit most of your standoffs. Ultronics, life safety cans. So another great tool to have. And of course, these guys get lost constantly because you either slip them in your pocket, leave them in a ceiling, you know, wherever. So just having a backup. Of course, and then we have the dedicated, I get bullied a lot, tweaker. So this gets used, of course, to hammer on things. If you can't fit a marker or a Sharpie into a point to mark a hole, you know, this is kind of used as an impromptu scribe tool. So there's that. We've got a random socket in here. So that's an empty tool pouch besides my little Klein. Oh, won't open up. Just a nice little set of hex keys here. One of the most compact ones on the market. And I just kind of took a bit of an old tape thong off of one of those Velcro pouches I was talking about where this is blown out, cut it, so I can hang it from my tool belt or anything else. And then we just have this cheap little guy here, because occasionally screws are hard to get to, so that guy kind of helps out. And then of course, you know, just a magnet, so I don't have to, you know, bend over to the ground to pick up a screw if hopefully it's magnetized. So that is something nice to have. So I'm going to put all this stuff back in here and we'll move on to what's actually in the bag. This is in my bag, but it's something that tends to come out and go on my belt. So, all right. So I'm going to move on to the larger, but not as commonly needed tools that I like to keep in my bag. I just forgot the name of these. I'd forgotten, and then I remembered, and I forgot again. Vice grips. So just a pair of vice grip locking pliers. These are nice to have. Sometimes screws strip out. Every now and then you can get these to kind of, you know, pinch on there real tight and get them out. So there's that. Channel locks. Of course, this is going to be like your bigger, like your 2-inch lock rings, larger bolts, things like that. Many uses for channel locks. So carry a nice pair of these at all times. These are new. My old ones just recently suffered tragedy. Was trying to cut a screw here, and of course they stick together, so picked up a new pair. Again, this is just a nice pair of kind of all-in-one wire strippers. I don't know if it'll pick that up on camera. This is a newer Klein variant. They're double grooved here. It's supposed to be good for removing screws that have, the head's been broken off of, stripped out. And of course you have your wire strippers, wire cutters, and you do have a nice crimp tool here. And of course, everyone's gonna hate it, doubles as a hammer. Here we just have another Klein. This is an all-in-one nut and bolt driver. So of course that's going to be your largest size, and then it just has a variety of sizes through here. This is something nice to carry. Outdoor enclosures, I find quite often just use this 7/16. So that's something handy to have, so you can turn it by hand instead of using, a pair of pliers or something like that. So again, nice tool. Klein again. We just have I believe this is an 11-in-1. It is a nut driver and screwdriver. You can see this one gets hammered on quite a bit. But again, kind of like that 14-in-1 tweaker screwdriver, each one of the barrels is a slightly different inner diameter. So it doubles as a nut driver there. So that's it for hand tools. I'm going to load this stuff up in the bag, and we're going to move on to power tools. All right, so power tools here that I kind of just daily carry in my pack. This is the M12 Milwaukee Fuel combo driver. This is the impact driver attachment. You have a standard drill head attachment, which is adjustable. One of the nice things about this is too, hold this button down here. It's kind of hard to tell on camera. There you go. It turns red. It's locked. So you can put it in your bag, leave a battery in it, and you don't have to worry about it getting bumped, trigger pulling, and running your battery down. Along with that, you have an offset attachment. That's nice. Kind of gives you a little bit of reach. You have this guy. Now, something I have personally found this great for is those positions where, like, if you're larger, because I do have an M18 Fuel drill, the hammer drill combo, and then impact. If your drill's ever just been too big to fit where you need it to, I know it's a weird application. We've actually used it, and majority of the times it's starting a door core. This is kind of one of those labor-saving things where instead of having to take a door off the hinges and then start the core because you couldn't fit a drill at the right angle, with a 38-inch bit on it to start a core, something like this can be just enough to get you started. They don't have the most power because, like I said, they are the M12 batteries, but they are great. Ever since I bought it, I've been carrying it in my tool pack. One of the other things that's great about it is it's very lightweight. The batteries are very lightweight. Batteries recharge very quickly. Got a couple of batteries here. This is the drill bit set that I carry. It's just a Milwaukee drill bit kit. Just to have. Carry a Dremel tool, the Milwaukee Dremel tool, which also uses their M12 batteries. I found that the Dremel name brand Dremel tools, the battery powered ones, you cannot just buy batteries for them. I've checked with all your major big box stores, looked online, you're going to have to buy a third-party branded battery, and they're just not as powerful as these. So I swapped over from one about a year ago to this guy here. Milwaukee M12 soldering iron. This is something nice. No more 50, 100-foot extension cords if you're on a construction site or possibly outside working on a gate and you need to, solder a connection up real quick. You just pop your battery in there and keep rocking and rolling. Grab this guy here. This is, of course, just a desoldering pump. And then this little pouch, I just house all of my Dremel bits, and then there's some solder down there in the bottom. And the last power tool I carry, some of y'all laugh at this, when you're building a panel, if it's got 38 doors on it or something, that is a lot of those little Phoenix connectors to screw down. It's a little electric tweaker. Comes with bits, USB-C in for charging. It's been a great little tool. I love it. The guys that I've let use it have all turned around and ordered one. It's just one of those things. It saves you a little bit of time, and it saves you that wrist strain. So I'm going to load all this up in the pack, and don't worry, any naysayers, I will show the pack fully loaded with all this stuff in it at the end. It does all fit. I'm going to move over to my network testing and other test tools that I carry. All right, so this is a recently purchased item, something that I've wanted. I tried a few like brands from Amazon. Finally saw this guy in my local electric supply place. This is a borescope. Supports micro USB and USB-C. Just plugs right into your smartphone, pairs seamlessly with the Klein free app, and then you've just got this massive whip here for an inspection camera. If you've ever been fishing a conduit or a wall and you just keep hitting something, can't figure out quite what, you can't get your phone camera, enough light, you can't see down in there, for $39. Again, it's kind of one of those labor saving tools, so it's something I've already used, got it a couple of weeks back. I've loved it. Like I said, for 39 bucks, it went in the backpack, because it has bailed me out. Now, I'm going to kind of move over here so I stop casting a shadow. I'm still casting shadow, oh well. This is just a Klein meter. Having a nice meter is definitely a must. I've just got a little kind of magnet holder on here so it can hang from whatever surface. I don't have to hold on to it. It's kind of hard to see in the sunlight, but it is the LCD display. Really can't see it in the sunlight. Standard 3-foot leads, little alligator clips you put on here, crimp you on to your wires. That one started pushing out. There we go. And again, good meter is just a good test tool to have. Of course, verify voltage is off before working on something. Verify what voltage is before connecting an in-field device or a board that, that's the last thing you want to do is damage equipment while you're in the field, or, be stuck beating your head against the wall. Why isn't this lock working, And then come to find out, all you needed to do was put power and see that, oh, it doesn't have power. Go back, and it could be something simple. You got a blown fuse, got a relay stuck closed, stuck open, bad relay, whatever. And this guy just kind of packages up nice and neat there. Klein Tools Scout Pro 3, RJ11 and RJ45. Of course, again, coax. It does have a whole bunch of little ends that go on. They're in the truck somewhere. Woo, throw it. Nice punch down tool. Help you fish that out if you find one that's punched down incorrectly. Just a little built-in hook there. You can adjust the impact on it and release the blade. Come on out of there. You can release the blade and replace it as necessary. RJ45 and RJ11 crimp tool. And again, you can use, it's got this kind of little circular dealio here. You can put Cat 5e, Cat 6 in there, crimp, twist, and do your terminations like that. It's not my preferred way to do it, but it is an option. So this is my networking tools that I carry, and then some basic test equipment. And then I'm going to move on to the hodgepodge of what's been hiding on top of the pack right here. All right, so a couple of more things here. Like I said earlier, that tweaker being an impromptu scribe tool. I do carry an actual scribe tool, just not in my tool pouch, because the little clip, this little screw-on bit here, it likes to fall off, so I keep it in my bag. Plenty of markers. Now, one thing that I found very useful, I was talking about where you can't get a marker in a thin application. This is called a long nib marker. I didn't even know what a nib was until I got it and realized, okay, this bit's clearly the nib. This fits the majority of high security door contacts I've encountered, your thicker camera mount plates, just a variety of things here. So it is a very useful tool to have. It does come with two. Gave one to one of our other installers, and then I've got the refills. These are some little cleaning bits here, and it comes in this nice little plastic case, so I just kind of pop this off in this little front compartment of my bag. So your scribe tools, a good installer is going to have a level. I could go off on many various reasons why you need a level, but most importantly, it's so things look neat, because neatness is a very large part of workmanship. You know, it just shows care and knowledge over what you're doing. Another thing is a tape measure. Installing card readers, buttons, panels, making sure your spacing is identical and accurate. Something is, you know, always within ADA compliance from the floor. So that's something good to carry. It's a tape measure. This is just a Klein flashlight, micro USB in for charging. It does have two brightnesses. You can kind of see there, full bright, dim. It does have a nice little, just a little red dot laser pointer on there. So maybe if you're trying to point out something to somebody, you could use it. I don't really know what you'd use the red laser for. I just liked it because it was fairly compact. You know, fit in a back pants pocket easily, or like in carpenter's jeans, fits in a little side pocket there. So nice little kind of rugged, just a nice flashlight. I threw the keyhole saw in here just because I didn't know where else to put it. This beats taking a screwdriver, pair of pliers, whatever, to drywall. You know, if you're doing yourself a cut-in box or anything else to mount a device. So having a nice keyhole saw. And this, it's a Cobalt because, I mean, it's a saw. And I just kind of put it in this little guy here so it doesn't scratch or cut up the inside of my bag or any other tools. I'll let it ruin just this one little cheap bag here that came with my drills. So there you go. There's scribe tools, measuring, leveling, flashlight, and cutting holes. So I'm gonna go on to the last bit of things I carry every day in my tool pouch or my tool bag, and load this stuff up real quick. All right, so the last few items we'll cover here quickly, pan over just a wee bit, is fishing wire, wire terminations, drill bits, not like drill a hole, but different kind of impact bits, I guess, driving bits. This guy right here, very useful tool. This is called a wet noodle. It's got a weaker magnet and a stronger magnet here. And as you can see, it'll bend into all kind of variety of shapes and places. And this is just a standard ball chain like what you see on a lamp or a fan cord, something like that. And it's quite long because it's touching the ground, and the tailgate's at about 36 inches there. And you can take a little bit of weight and tape onto this guy and drop down a door frame, down a wall. This is, you know, a harder pull, I guess, is where this guy comes into play. And if you think you can hear it and can't get to it, you got this guy, about 18 inches long, maybe 2 feet. And you can grab it. Oop, drop the bit. But that's a nice tool to have. Put him back up here. And of course, this thing, every time you need it, it's going to be balled up. I have a little pouch that I throw it in to kind of keep it self-contained, but like headphone cords, it makes a mess of itself. Some jet line. Of course, that goes without saying. Jet line, you know, every now and then pulling a wire somewhere where you need to pull something that's already home run isn't the best choice because it's a little too thick. So jet line there. Or if you're pulling a wire out to add wire and you're going to come back down, jet line, just tie it, tape it on, send it up. So we'll talk about connections, terminations real quick. So I've just got some Cat 5e keystones, RJ45s. So here I've got some Cat 5es, some RJ45s, varying resistors. Got some more down here at the bottom along with some random plugs and pieces. Not a huge fan of using these for low voltage, but there are times like life safety power enclosures where they have a plug with your live, neutral, and ground for you to adapt to if you're not hardwiring. So I keep some of those in there. Scotch locks. These are nicer if you have multiple, say, 18 gauge wires. And then of course just standard insulated silicone filled B-wire connectors, which is what I like to use as my standard connection there whenever splicing from a home run cable to an infield device that has a whip. I'm going to just keep all these in a little nice tote here, little $6 6 divider tote that can be abused and things of that nature. So next we'll go over just the kind of specialty bits and different drivers and stuff that I daily carry that I feel like, are useful. All right, so moving down the tailgate here, we just have a plethora of different bits here. I like these little sheathed impact collars, so you can put you a small bit. I'll just grab this one for example. Put him in there, set your screw on, and drop the other one. And slip it up where it's just the tip of the screw coming out for like a self-tapping screw. That'll keep it from doing that little wobbling, and then you punch something by accident or it slips and falls. Kind of gets rid of that irritation there. Got a couple of those just because they like to disappear. Just a long reach impact adapter. Usually it's not good if one of these has to come out, but it's something to carry. Couple of just longer Phillips drivers, and then an impact extender. This assortment of different impact Phillips size bits. These are good to have. Something thicker like this you're probably going to see on a door hinge or door hardware if it's integrated hardware. Kind of keep you from stripping that screw out. And we've got some finer ones here for various screw sizes. This is just a whole pack of Phillips head number 2s. One of the most common screw sizes I encounter, so I just keep a pack of them, and as they strip out I replace them. I have a unibit here. It goes all the way up to 1 1/8 inch. So you can get your hole for your knockout, MX connector, grommet, passing cable through, whatever you've got to do. That'll drill you a hole. Just be careful when you're using these. You're going to put it, as we say, in first gear. You can start in second and get it hole started. I personally don't like to use this tip to start a hole because I've seen too many unibits worn out that way. But if you're going to use this, start in second. Get your hole started, drop down to that first speed. That way you don't really ruin these ridges here, because that's the number one way to ruin your ridges, is running a unibit at too high of a speed. This is a 3/4 Forstner bit. It's actually a 7/8. I thought it was a 3/4. So this is a 7/8 Forstner bit. This is good for wood doors when you're doing magnets or door contacts, or if you just need a 7/8 hole in any piece of wood. We've got us just a 7/8 hole saw here. I like these. These do a little better than, like a screw-in style hole saw. This is a good size to carry. This is what I tend to use for MX connectors, like at the bottom of your enclosure for your power cords. And then again, this is going to drill the appropriate sized hole for any 3/4 conduit. So if you're adding a hole to something, it's a nice little tool to have. This is the pouch that all of these smaller things live in. So like all this stuff kind of right here. A magnetize and demagnetizer tool. So you can just kind of stick this guy in here and roll him around. Well, I don't have anything to stick it to, but it's magnetized, you know, for screws and whatnot. And we're gonna move back over here some. And these are just a bunch of different nut drivers. I wouldn't call them sockets. They are nut drivers. That one's full of trash. Just for various things you may encounter. You put these on a drill. And then this is a impact to socket adapter. I just happen to have two. One's a little shorter. This one's actually for an impact, whereas this one is like for a drill or something, because it doesn't have the, you can see there, the little locking collar. And that's going to be your differences on most of these here. That little locking indentation versus not having it. And then these guys are, I feel like I'm going to break a bit, so I'm going to put the cheap stuff in. That's why a lot of them are missing. So we just have various sizes, and these are all for impacts, because that's where stuff tends to, you can look at these, get stripped out or get broken, is when it goes in an impact. So there's nothing wrong with keeping, you know, a nice set of cheap bits. I know some people love Ryobi. I don't have any luck with their drill bits or impact bits, so I call them cheap. So I'm gonna load all this stuff up in the pack and then kind of take y'all through it and show you kind of how everything lays out. Last thing here. So cable management is something that's pretty important. Strapping your cable to whatever it may be inside an enclosure or a network rack or any space that we would define as serviceable. I prefer Velcro. If it is a space where like a service technician or yourself may come back to later and have to troubleshoot or work or repair things, just throw it. I prefer Velcro. That's just 3/4 inch Velcro. Tends to do really good. And you can always cut it, you know, to width. We've just got some little small zip ties here for keeping things tidy inside of junction boxes and whatnot. And then some larger zip ties to go to things like beam clamps, J-hooks, wherever a zip tie may be necessary. But again, serviceable location. I prefer Velcro. That little spool's almost run out. Of course, you know, buy it, and you can buy like the big, about the size of a 5-gallon bucket spools for about 20 bucks. So it's not really costing you anything extra, and just cut it with your scissors, and it really goes a long way to show serviceability. And then of course, I personally think it looks cleaner than zip ties. All right, so everything's kind of loaded back up in the pack here, and I'll just kind of run you guys through it, how I like to keep mine organized. So in this front pouch here, I've got my main tool pouch that I put on my belt with all my hand tools, just for quick access. The little electronic tweaker I showed you. All of my scribe tools is a long nib marker, regular marker, scribe tools, zip ties. Up top here, let me pick you guys up. Oh. So up top here is, this is the little bag I showed with all of my drivers and things in it. So all of that's going to be in here. You can kind of see that magnetizing tool and the little ball chain I was talking about. Velcro. Oh, this is my scissor sharpener. I kind of forgot to talk about it. I mentioned sharpening scissors, but that's where he lives. So just little small stuff in this little pouch. Put y'all back on the tripod real quick. And then on this side, undo this little fastener. Of course, tape measure. And this is here. And I've got my Dremel tool, my soldering iron, a desoldering pump. On this side I have my scissors, electrician's tape, my little pouch with various tips for the soldering iron, solder, and Dremel pieces. And there's my meter and all of its accessories. here in the main compartment, we have all of our tools. I have a nice little hanger here for the drill. Common hand tools off to each side. All of the batteries sit there right behind the drill case. The green bag there is all the drill heads, jet line, all of my networking tools, wet noodle, level, flashlight, various connectors, and the borescope tool. So there you guys have it. This is kind of everything that I have found over the course of a few years that is useful to daily carry and what I use most often. So that kind of goes in here in this bag. And this is my 4th bag that I've tried out. And so far it's been my favorite. I've had it for about 3 weeks now. Love it. 0 complaints. It does have a little laptop sleeve in the back for like a 13-inch laptop. But I keep that in like a separate, just a little like messenger bag. So if I need my laptop, I can go grab it. But if there's anything you want to see like more in depth, you want me to highlight, you guys just drop a comment, let me know. I'll go over the tool and more of its environment of how it gets used and, more details.